Where do I even begin? I was gushing about Record of Ragnarok a couple months ago. I made a video on it and I praised the manga for being the best battle manga I've personally ever read, something I still believe to this day. If you haven't read it or haven't watched that video, I recommend it before continuing with this one. Because despite Record of Ragnarok's simplicity in its concept, or perhaps because of how straightforward it is, every single one of its fights are beautiful from beginning to end. Be it because of the two enemies, their history, their chemistry together, or the actual fighting. And then Netflix swooped in. If there is a single thing that brought this anime down to its knees and pummeled it into the dirt, it's the animation. Record of Ragnarok, again, is so simple that there are very few things you need to get right except for the animation. After all, it's just fighting. If the fighting doesn't look good, then the entire battle show falls apart. And that's sadly what happened. There are great parts, especially in the animation of facial expressions, for example, and close-ups on characters. But that's just about the only parts where it visually shines. It turned the epic finale of Adam vs. Zeus into a literal slideshow. People will joke around how any anime with bad animation quality is a slideshow, but this was literally just still frames next to each other in the last and most epic moments of one of the best fights in the show. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the entirety of the Adam vs. Zeus fight because, in my opinion, it is the poster child of Record of Ragnarok. It is the one that stands above all for me. And though I will mention all of the bad parts that Netflix failed to translate from the manga, I'm not one to completely crap on an anime if there's merit present, and there is. One that must be acknowledged, is the soundtrack. Adam vs. Zeus begins with one of the most absurd and charismatic introductions to the fight, with Zeus's entrance, with Hermes and the music playing behind him, the stupid dancing. I was super excited to see how this ended up being animated. And this was probably the only part of the anime that truly exceeded my expectations. The music at this part, the background sound, was masterfully done. The mix of classic Beethoven and heavy rock music was just so awesome, so epic to build up to this fight. The way they clash completely yet work in harmony is really hard to achieve. And to go along with it, we see the totally absurd yet entertaining antics of Zeus as he gets hyped up. Midway through, the crowd starts cheering for him as the grandfather of the cosmos, and this really is just icing on the cake. With the rock music, classical, cheers, everything works so well together here. Really, hats off. And even separate from this scene specifically, the OST never fails in Record of Ragnarok. It has ancient and time period fitting music in the flashbacks. It has great rock music, one of the biggest attributes of this anime for the fights, with that thumping drum to back it up. It is epic and emotional and sinister whenever it needs to be. The soundtrack is the single part of this anime that really went above and beyond to the levels that I was expecting from this great adaptation, or what should have been great. And it's no surprise considering Yasuhara Takanashi, the composer behind works like Fairy Tail and Naruto Shippuden, was responsible for it. Same goes for the voice acting, honestly, with even more huge names like Kazuhiro Yamaji and Junichi Suabe, all prominent voice actors. But the animation, once again I must bring it up, really disappointed. And it's not even like the animation is objectively bad, but this manga brought so much hype, and Record of Ragnarok deserves god-tier animation. It's the bare minimum for the amazing fights that it has. The production quality has to match that, and it didn't. The one word I would use to describe it is inconsistent. As I said earlier, facial expressions are done very well. The conniving Loki, the expressions of Zeus in his fight with Adam. But then you'll snap away to a broader shot that can barely even be considered as animation. I swear manga panels move better than some of these scenes, and they don't even move. For example, the dramatic and epic kick from Zeus is barely even animated. You've got the hype staging for the scene, right? You can see just how powerful this kick is going to be. But the momentum, the speed, and strength, it all disappears in the next shot as Adam jumps over it like it's nothing. And look, yeah, part of the point is to show that Adam is leagues ahead of Zeus at this point, but that does not excuse this poor animation that reduces what should be an epic moment of Adam flexing to what barely feels like an important scene. And really, the saving grace of this fight, aside from the soundtrack and the voice acting, is the original writing for it, because despite the inconsistent animation, I still felt the epicness of Adam fighting for all of mankind. The sentiment was still there. I could feel the pride of Adam fighting for all of his children. I mean, truly, this quote,
子供たちを守るのに理由なんているのかい
it still holds up. I mentioned it in my old video too, and it still gave me goosebumps when it's animated, which reminds me of just how much of a shame it is that the animation couldn't match that. Record of Ragnarok has such a prolific soundtrack, it's almost always going throughout the show. And in the few moments where it's not there, like this one, it makes it feel super epic. And we continue through the fight, and I want to say once again, the animation isn't completely bad. There are great shots, and still scenes with little movement are done very well. But the way they're connected is horrendous, and of course that is what makes animation. Like, Adam grabs Zeus's head, finally setting up for a comeback after we think all is lost, and then we boot up Microsoft PowerPoint. Like, what? The end of the fight is also perfect. Adam's admirable silhouette standing against the sky as he dies fighting for his children. The emotions and cheers of the crowd, it's all very beautiful. But it's not enough to make up for the ultimately disappointing fight that built up to it. Now, if I were to rate everything, I would give soundtrack and voice acting a 10. Totally. They never disappointed, honestly, and story and writing, I would give a solid 8 as well. In my opinion, the emotions that I felt reading the manga, what the writer really wanted to get through, were translated into the anime, the key points. The Lu Bu vs. Thor fight, in my opinion, was pretty underwhelming, but I thought the same in the manga as well. It's kind of just two Chads fighting it out. It's good to introduce everything, but not much more than that. But the standout moments I did remember from Adam vs. Zeus were still there, and so I have to give credit. And animation, I'd give it a 3. And you might think that's a little harsh, because there are good moments, but the thing is, Record of Ragnarok deserved better. It's not just that the animation is objectively bad or mid-tier, but it didn't meet the level that was required for such an intense battle manga, and that lowered it significantly. It's different if this animation were in a slice of life or a drama or a mystery, but it's in Record of Ragnarok, and that is important. And overall enjoyment, I'd give it a 6.5. I think that despite what happened animation-wise, the soundtrack, writing, and voice acting really carried this anime for me. I still felt hype even when it was frame by frame, and I definitely attribute it to that. It creates a really strong atmosphere from start to finish. I'm not sure how people who haven't read the manga feel. I don't feel like they would have liked it as much as I did, but I was both disappointed and impressed at different parts. Overall though, I'm indifferent. As always, this has been the Anime Culture Corner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future in-depth show, manga, and character analyses.